Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, simply because I've designed it myself during the last 9 years that I've been a coach, and two, nobody spends as much time with another clients like I do. True story, 2 to 3 times per week, I get together with all of my clients, whether that's via Zoom or a phone call. I'm very thorough in my coaching. We go through your childhood, adolescence, all the way up until today. We examine your belief systems. We process certain emotions associated with painful habits that you've learned, painful memories, painful instances. And then, and only then, I embark on this journey with you of how to manifest properly and how to manifest easily. I don't do it in reverse, and there's very specific order to this. So this coaching program literally does not exist. If it does, then somebody's copying me. And so basically, you're better off coaching with somebody who actually designed it and know what they're doing. And I also teach energy work in my coaching. This part of a curriculum now. I have decided to teach this because it's very, very effective, and I've learned it myself, taught this myself, and learned it from my maternal grandmother when I was growing up, and it's the most effective manifestation technique, if there is any, under the sun. So I wanted to remind everybody that I do recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me. Sometimes more is necessary depending on the situation, okay? As well as to remind everyone, the entry-level coaching packages are as follows. The monthly Magic and Miracles audios. This is material that will eventually go into my books, but for now I've made it into the audio version. And basically what that is you get 3 audios per week, 12 audios per month. Very educational, very in-depth conversations on lots of topics that I no longer discuss on my channel, and actually never did. This is about manipulating energy, specific people, dreams, quantum field, holographic universe, you name it. I discuss anything and everything that I want, and I made it a subscription base because there are elements of my one-on-one coaching in those audios, and I will never put them on my channel. As well as video school that's proven to be extremely successful. This is a one-time deal versus the audios which you can renew. It's 12 videos, me going through my coaching program step by step, and explaining all the exercises you have to do, and basically guiding you through the entire process. Now, everything that you receive in my coaching is copyright protected. And so you will sign that agreement upon coaching with me. So it's not to be distributed, not to be profited from, in your coaching, if you're a coach, or otherwise. Everything is copyright protected automatically at the time of creation. But everything that I have put out on my channel is then registered as well. So I would not recommend doing what has been done already, of which you are aware. So I wanted to record. I do not recommend copying me. If that was a mystery, what I just said, this will not get you anywhere. You will look ridiculous. I wanted to record this. I'm still working in my office, if you can believe it. And I thought about this subject that we have discussed today in live, about the energy and about how to do the energy on your third party. And essentially, what we were discussing is that you're doing the energy work on yourself. And so if there's any darkness in your life right now, such as interferences, things you don't prefer, etc., the work is very much to do on yourself. And what came up for me as an inspiration for this audio, and I really couldn't talk it down, because I was originally going to record it maybe tomorrow as a follow-up to live, but a lot of people come to me with SP problems, right? And this is a very hot topic, and I started discussing it because people ask me to, but with a very different angle, all right? I solely focus on you. And I wanted to say this, sometimes people come to me, and they have come to me in the past, where it was clear that the person that they're trying to bring back actually didn't treat them very nicely. And I'm really being soft about it, actually. They were really abusive, right? So the rule of thumb is this, right? If a person is demeaning you, mistreating you, okay, gaslighting you, disrespecting you, making you feel like shit in some, bringing back a person like that or salvaging any kind of situation with them right there and then, to me, is not, the order of things. That is not your priority. That should not be something that you do. As soon as abuse is introduced, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, you're literally demeaning yourself, okay? Why you want to bring back such a person is a mystery to me. Okay. Yeah, I understand that your heart is broken. I understand that, there's lots of things that, you can experience with the same person. But when it crosses over to abuse, it is my advice, my sincere advice to the people who this will resonate with. Take care of yourself, bring yourself up to a level where you no longer attract people like that. And I know this from my own personal experience because, it usually happens with people who were abused in their childhood. Okay, let's just start with that. And they become automatic people pleasers. It's either a parent, a guardian, somebody close to them who either physically, sexually, or both abuses them, emotionally abuses them, mentally abuses them. And they carry on through life thinking that this is normal. It is not. And intuitively you know this, factually you know this, but something changes within your brain chemistry when you're abused at such a young age, okay? It just literally chemically, you are not composed of the same molecules as you were prior to the abuse, okay? As you were a baby, let's just say. And so you seek out these people, these very people who then continue to abuse you. So my sincere advice would be to get into coaching, not with the purpose of, seeking revenge, like sometimes, I've gotten, or to bring back somebody who hurt you to this degree. Now, I'm not talking about even cheating or lying or betrayal. I'm talking about knowing that somebody's hurting you and they continue doing so. Lying to you over and over again, cheating on you over and over again, backstabbing you over and over again, knowing full well that they're hurting you, and continue to act like, you're the problem, manipulating you, gaslighting you, like I said, etc., etc. You need to get out of this cycle as soon as possible. You absolutely, this is not the priority for you. The priority is, again, to really go back and examine why you even attracted a person like that. And again, I'm speaking from experience. I used to have a couple of relationships like those who absolutely brought me to my knees. And at the time, I too, like maybe you do right now, felt like, well, there must be something wrong with me since I can't figure out how to please this person. There are such people that you cannot fucking, stand enough ways on your head in order to please them. It's impossible. Okay, my mother is like that. You can't possibly please this woman. She will completely destroy you and make fun of you, at best. Okay, she'll make fun of you. Her life evolves around, demeaning others, criticizing others, disrespecting others, lying about others, etc., etc. That's just one example of one parent, who quite frankly has no business being a parent. And so there are many people out there like that who have endured this abuse growing up and thus attracting these kinds of partners. Okay, with repetition over and over again, you attract the same kind of guy, the same kind of girl, maybe. And so the idea is not to bring this person back. The idea is to break the fucking cycle. Okay, what I was talking about this afternoon in my live, when I was talking about, there is no competition, it's just you, etc. You're the golden Buddha. The reference is when you are dealing with a healthy situation, meaning there is no manipulation, there is no abuse, there's just a third party that showed up because of your insecurity. So I want to be really, really crystal clear with this, because I know that, some people might get confused. And so in this instance, well, regardless, the work is on you, but especially in this instance, yes, all right, bring them back, work on yourself and get rid of that third party. But if there is a third party in conjunction with somebody abusing you, you know what? Just take it as a blessing and completely disregard this person from now on. Get out of this situation and understand that this is a blessing in disguise, in terms of them creating this opportunity for you to get to know yourself. They've hurt you to such a degree that you are now looking up all these videos and, reading up on, manifestation, this and that. In this case, you would get into coaching not for manifestation purposes only. You would get into coaching to adjust your thinking big time, to adjust your belief system big time, to where abuse becomes completely abnormal to you. And this is what I had to do for myself years and years ago. It wasn't easy because, like I said, when you're used to something so much, you just automatically assume that, well, this is all I deserve. Okay? But what the abusive person comes into your life to remind you of is that you're not valuing yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't stay with such a person. Okay, you wouldn't even dream of bringing them back. You would completely be revolted by the situation and run the other way. But because you stayed, because you're entertaining this idea, by default, by definition, there is a part of you that's hurting. And it's been hurting for quite some time, may I tell you. And so instead of trying to figure out how to bring somebody back or how to manifest even a new SP right now, you totally need to take care of yourself, like I said, and start figuring out what the new normal should be. And that, may I tell you, will pay you such dividends long term that, I cannot even just sit here and tell you. When I started valuing myself, finally decided to get off my ass and figure out how I adjust this. But I got, my ass kicked, metaphorically speaking, with the last experience of this tremendous abuse that I had to go through with my ex-drug addict boyfriend. It was unparalleled. It was until I went through this experience. It wasn't until, rather, that I went through this experience that was absolutely horrific on all levels, that I finally decided to take a look at myself and why I was manifesting what I was manifesting. It wasn't until then that I decided that I deserve happiness too, that this is enough, that I could not live another day like that. And, even in, knowing and realizing that you are being abused, many people go back, and so did I. Several times I went back. But there comes a point where you just have enough, and you are so overwhelmed with the knowing of this not being right. And you finally want to offer yourself an opportunity of experiencing something fucking different. Because your higher self is just prompting you to, hey, there's more than that. There's got to be more than that. And so I completely understand how hard it can be. However, on the other side, there's a whole other life that's waiting for you, full of all sorts of possibilities. Because when you are in a relationship with a person like that, you're not just being abused mentally, emotionally, and physically. You're being sucked dry of your talents that are completely there the entirety of time, sucked dry of your energy, of your will to resist abuse. Okay, you suck dry of your finances, of resources, of friends. It's complete isolation, complete misery. So it's just like, how do you do it? Why would you want a person like that back? Why would you want to fix anything with a person like that? So instead of doing that, I would highly recommend, sincerely recommend, just understanding how to get out of the situation as soon as possible, to have the courage to leave a person like that as soon as possible, to make a decision to not turn back, okay, and to really start taking steps towards your independence from this abusive, dysfunctional cycle. And listen, I wish somebody like me existed for me back then, like a coach or somebody that I became aware of, but I wasn't thinking this way at the time. Okay, it took me the time that it took me, a few years, to finally have an understanding of who I really wanted to be, what I even represented in this world. But when you have guidance of somebody else, it could be achieved in a relatively short period of time, especially when it's somebody who went through a similar situation. But again, if you're encountering people in your dating life who are, again, disrespectful, downright manipulative, really treating you unkindly and abusing you in any shape or form, just understand this is not by chance. This is by design. You've accepted something early on, and it needs to be fixed so that you never encounter it again. It needs to be purposefully fixed. You cannot just, fall asleep to a meditation, fall asleep to subliminal tape and this and that. This literally needs to be like completely rebuilt from ground up, who you are, what you represent, relearn these things about yourself that, you've probably never learned the correct way in the first place. Relearn your worth, relearn respecting yourself, relearn boundaries, relearn loving yourself, and relearn that, rather learn that you don't have to be a people pleaser to succeed in life and to have a lovely relationship. The opposite is true. Now, I'm not saying to be nasty, never do I mean that when I say that you need to focus on yourself. But the love that you owe yourself, it is, it's overdue in situations like these. And it isn't your fault that you've concluded that this is all you deserve. However, it is up to you to break that pattern and to change things around for good. And so again, while you may be under the impression right now that you're kind of like on the hunt for a perfect manifestation technique, if this is your situation, what you're looking for is the answer to how to love yourself again and how to create a far better future than you're even able to imagine right now. And while it will be challenging for you to even make this decision, perhaps, to cut this person loose forever and not look back, and I know it can come in waves, but essentially the light is so attractive that you never want to look back into the darkness again once you get comfortable and familiar with time and with guidance. And that's exactly what I consider black magic versus white magic, is when somebody influences you early in childhood to such a degree where you carry that darkness with you and you attract a lot of darkness. And one of these scenarios could be a third party, but that is only a symptom, okay, of something being misaligned. You will be the judge again if your situation is with an abusive person or with a person who is not abusive but simply fell in love with somebody else or started being attracted to somebody else, etc., etc. So fundamentally, you need to start out with a healthy situation that just went awry instead of a person who from the get-go you knew and you saw that their intentions were not good, and all the red flags were ignored, and you just persuaded yourself this was the person because, again, their behavior was very similar to the original abuser in your life, who perhaps happens to be your parent, or somebody very close to you. And that really just rang a bell with you because it looked so familiar, it felt so familiar to be abused. So be honest with yourself, I would say. If you're in pain of another kind and you've endured a lot, chances are you have to look at things differently. And again, the journey always starts with you. However, the intention behind getting into coaching has to be different, and you need to be very honest with yourself and with your coach. And I certainly demand honesty and transparency because that's the only way I operate in my coaching, for you to be able to arrive to this place of authenticity where you finally are able to love yourself fully and offer yourself the best results, the best kind of quality of living. Otherwise, where are you going, right? If you're not honest about the fundamental things. Sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with it. You might as well deal with it now. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.